Young men, listen. Your future can be derailed not by fear, but by a false sense of safety. Condom? Being 100% protection? Not really. There are gaps most guys never learn until it's too late. Do you know 3 invisible risks doctors rarely mention that can shape your first year sexually active? I'm Dr. James, a urologist and HIV researcher with 20 years focused on young men's sexual health. In just a few minutes, I'll reveal a 60-second mid-video defense formula that is simple, repeatable, and proven. When you finish this video, you'll understand risk clearly, protect yourself confidently, and keep your freedom without panic. This is about smart choices, honest testing, the right condom+lube habits, and conversations that respect you and your partners. Soft CTA. Comment aware if you're ready to protect yourself. Comment 19 to show your interest level. This next section is for young men beginning sexual activity. I'll share non-judgmental truths about HIV prevention, how transmission happens, the window period, smart testing, and condom-lube basics, so you can act confidently without panic or guesswork. First, in the next 60 seconds, update your understanding with a few science truths most young men skip. So we build protection on facts, not rumors, and you move forward without fear or guesswork about what creates risk. Meet Alex, 19, starting sexual activity this year. His questions mirror yours. What HIV is, how it moves in the body, and which moments create risk versus everyday contact that never does, like hugs. HIV is a retrovirus targeting CD4 helper T cells. Once inside, it copies itself and turns those cells into factories, gradually weakening the network that organizes defenses against infections and opportunistic illness. Imagine your immune system as a security team. CD4 cells dispatch, CD8 cells and antibodies respond, and cytokines are the radios. HIV slips past the gate and hijacks dispatch, leaving the team slower, disorganized, and easier for other troublemakers to exploit. Transmission requires specific body fluids entering mucous membranes or the bloodstream: blood, semen, and rectal fluids. Touch, sweat, saliva, toilet seats, or air do not transmit HIV because the virus cannot survive those conditions. Risk rises where those fluids meet vulnerable tissue, condomless vaginal or anal sex, especially receptive anal intercourse due to delicate rectal lining, sharing needles, or blood-to-blood contact. Kissing without blood is not a meaningful risk, and saliva alone does not transmit HIV. Inside the body, HIV binds to CD4 and co-receptors, fuses with the cell, reverse transcribes RNA into DNA, and integrates into your genome. Integration lets HIV hide and persist unless treatment blocks these steps and keeps viral load undetectable to protect partners. For Alex and for you, the takeaway is simple. Know the real fluids and routes. Use condoms with lubricant to protect fragile tissue and plan regular testing. Understand correctly, protect early, and your confidence and relationships will stay strong. Now for the question many young men ask me after a follow-up visit and a positive result. Why didn't anyone tell me sooner? The next 60 seconds can put you ahead of tens of thousands of peers who stumble into the same risks every single day worldwide. Alex returns to clinic confused, not reckless. He simply started sex without a plan. Root cause 1 is knowledge and testing before the first partner. Most guys never get baseline tests or discuss status, so they enter intimacy blind and interpret feeling fine as being safe. Root cause 2 is trust bias. You like someone, you believe their story, and you assume monogamy exists without confirming it. You skip condoms because we know each other, and you overestimate honesty while underestimating biology and the window period. Root cause 3 is alcohol, peer pressure, and thrill-seeking curiosity. A few drinks dull judgment, friends normalize risk, and novelty pushes speed over clarity. In that mix, correct condom use, lube choice, and consent conversations fall apart, especially late at night. Root cause 4 is misinformation and symptom chasing. Alex searched forums for answers and trusted myths that saliva transmits HIV, or that no symptoms means no risk. He focused on guessing instead of scheduling objective tests and learning true routes of transmission and realistic protection steps. None of this requires shame. It requires structure. You reduce fear when you name the causes, make a testing plan, set condom+lube as default, and agree on boundaries early. Understand the root causes, and your confidence rises while your risk falls, because prevention becomes a repeatable habit you control. Real clarity today prevents regret tomorrow. If this helped, comment "useful," or if your hands are busy, type any number from 1 to 9 so I can tailor future videos better for you. Don't stop now. Listen closely, because when you grasp this, the rest makes sense. And remember, even I would have mistaken these signs if I weren't trained in this field, just like countless young men do. This is the window period, the hidden interval after exposure when HIV can be present and multiplying while standard antibody tests read negative, creating a dangerous illusion of safety that misleads smart, careful people like Alex. During the first days to weeks, the virus enters through fragile mucous tissue, binds to CD4 receptors, integrates into host DNA, and ramps replication. The immune alarm rises, but antibodies take time to reach detectable levels. Antibody tests usually turn positive after several weeks, while laboratory nucleic acid tests can detect viral RNA earlier. Yet many clinics and individuals rely on later testing alone, so timing and follow-up windows become everything. In this gap, your body may whisper vague signals that feel like a seasonal bug. Low fever, sore throat, swollen nodes, night sweats, fatigue, or a transient rash. And weight can dip slightly, then rebound, masking what happened. Because these signs overlap with common infections and college stress, Alex dismissed them, chalking up exhaustion to exams and a weekend cold, and he paused condoms with a trusted partner, believing mutual honesty equaled biological certainty. Think of it like invisible ink in your blood. The message exists the moment the ink dries, but the letters only glow under the right light later, and until then, you might file the page as blank. That light is time plus the correct test schedule, an early RNA test when indicated, followed by repeat antibody or antigen testing at clinician-recommended intervals. Because precision, not panic, turns confusion into clarity and protects partners compassionately. Another man I met, we'll call Marco, felt fluish 10 days after an unprotected encounter, tested negative immediately, relaxed, then skipped follow-up. Weeks later, a repeat test turned positive, a gut punch that was avoidable. Marco wasn't reckless. He was uninformed about windows, and he mirrored Alex's belief that symptoms equal answers and a single test equals truth, when the equation is exposure timing plus the right test repeated on schedule. For Alex, and for you, the rule is simple. Act as if exposure truly occurred. Keep condoms and lubricant non-negotiable and treat testing as a calendar habit, not a one-off event driven by fear or internet guessing. If you notice those whisper symptoms, don't self-diagnose or spiral. Note the date, seek clinical guidance, ask which test is appropriate now, and schedule the follow-up before you leave, turning uncertainty into a plan you control. Most men find out too late. Stay with me for the solution next, because the next section gives you a repeatable 60-second defense routine that threads timing, protection, and conversation into one practical, confident strategy. If you're still here, I see your patience and grit. Drop a comment saying, "Still here," or leave a number from 1 to 9 so I can tailor future videos and know you're walking this path with me. Here is the method I wrestled with for years, distilled into a 90-second routine to protect young men like Alex. Simple, repeatable, and designed to calm your mind while closing the most common gaps that create avoidable risk in early sexual experiences and resilient. Step 1 is calendar-based testing, not panic-based testing. Set monthly reminders, pick a trusted clinic or home kit, and after any potential exposure, ask about early RNA testing now. Then pre-book antigen or antibody follow-ups before you walk out of the appointment without hesitation. Consider this your timing seatbelt, because a single negative may reflect the window. Alex keeps a tiny wallet card listing exposure dates, initial and repeat tests. So planning replaces guessing, and clarity replaces late-night searches for symptoms and worry that mimic the common cold. Step 2 is condom plus water-based or silicone lubricant, every time. More lube means less friction and fewer microtears, especially for receptive partners, so protection holds. Practice application beforehand, pinch the tip, roll smoothly, and replace immediately if it slips, dries out, or breaks. Carry 2 condoms and a small lube, keep them away from heat, check expiration dates, and add this to your going out checklist. Alex's pouch holds ID, keys, 2 condoms, lube, and a hydration note, reminding him to slow down, breathe, and stay present. Step 3 is status and boundaries, discussed early and kindly. Ask, when was your last test and which one? Then share your plan. Agree that if either person has a new partner, condoms return as the default without blame, because biology deserves predictable protection. This talk feels awkward until practiced. Alex rehearses, "I like you and want to enjoy this safely. Condoms and lube are my standard, and I test on this schedule," which signals respect, reduces pressure, and turns honesty into shared protection rather than suspicion or drama. Step 4 is recovery. Sleep, nutrition, and stress hygiene. Get 7 to 9 hours, eat steady meals with protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Move daily with sunlight and add a simple breath practice. Lower cortisol supports immune balance, better choices, and consistent follow-through and steadier moods. Make the routine visible. Calendar testing dates. Keep the pouch by the door and screenshot your boundary lines to review before dates. Alex checks his list while brushing his teeth because what you see daily becomes what you do consistently, and consistency beats fear reliably. This is a true story meant to build trust, reduce doubt, and guide you, because many young men who meet me arrive shaken, overwhelmed, and convinced one mistake defines the rest of their sexual future. CDC and WHO guidance is clear. Consistent condom use lowers sexual transmission risk, and structured testing aligned to exposure timing catches infections earlier, when early RNA tests are followed by repeat antigen and antibody tests. That schedule matters because the window period can mask early infection. Detection improves across weeks, so a negative too soon is information about timing, not a guarantee about the biology unfolding inside your bloodstream carefully. Why the condom plus lubricant rule works is biochemical. Reduced friction prevents microtears in delicate tissue, keeping barriers intact and lowering chances infectious fluids contact vulnerable mucosa during vaginal or anal sex, receptive anal intercourse. Beyond barriers and tests, baseline health supports resilience. Adequate vitamin D and zinc are associated with healthier immune signaling and CD4 maintenance. Though supplements are not treatment and never replace testing, medical care, or therapy. I teach breath-led downshifts because physiology shapes decisions. A slow inhale and longer exhale activate the parasympathetic system, lower cortisol, steady heart rate, and clear space to choose protection rather than rush into preventable risk. Alex practiced this sequence before dates. 3 minutes of breathing, a check of his pouch, and a quick status run-through, converting awkward moments into calm, respectful conversations about boundaries, timing, and staying healthy together. Consider Jacob, 22, who panicked after an exposure, then followed the routine. An RNA test, condoms+lube, repeat tests at 1 and 3 months. The third test was negative and his confidence returned. His relief did not come from luck. It came from sequence, accepting uncertainty, scheduling follow-ups, and keeping protection consistent while questions resolved, which safeguarded partners and turned a scary experience into a lesson he now shares. When men understand the why behind each step, fear shrinks and consistency grows, because prevention stops feeling like superstition and becomes a system you can run under stress in relationships, during semesters, across real adult life. It is time to help your body heal, and I will stay briefly so you can use these tools, because healing begins when fear shrinks and structure replaces it in routines you control each day. When prevention becomes routine, anxiety drops. With fewer midnight spirals and fewer what-if searches, your brain leaves emergency mode, restores focus, and lets you concentrate on school, work, and friendships without uncertainty quietly undermining confidence. Sleep deepens as worry loops fade. Scheduled testing, prepared condoms and lubricant, and a practiced conversation script calm the system so melatonin rises, cortisol settles, and your circadian rhythm finally performs the quiet repair needed. Confidence in relationships grows because boundaries are clear. Alex opens dates by naming his routine kindly, shifting energy from suspicion to safety, and both exhale, choosing intimacy as a shared decision rather than rushed reaction. Your nervous system rewards predictability. Breath-led downshifts lengthen exhalation, activate the parasympathetic branch, and reduce tension, palpitations, and sweat spikes. So your body reads situations accurately instead of mistaking excitement for danger and sprinting past. Physical vitality improves as basics compound. Steady meals, hydration, sunlight, and movement deliver micronutrients and oxygen, maintain healthier weight, and steady hormones, supporting libido, mood, and immune balance across ordinary weeks and occasional stressful exams. Notice how one choice cascades. Because Alex tests on schedule, he plans weekends better, drinks less, sleeps earlier, and reaches for lubricant automatically, meaning fewer microtears, fewer scares, and genuinely better experiences for both partners. The same ripple uplifted Jacob after his negative 3-month test. Relief became wiser habits, not complacency, and he now coaches friends to treat window periods as timing puzzles, not verdicts, preserving shared peace and momentum. When you remove fear, your whole life breathes easier is not poetry. It is physiology plus planning, freeing energy for learning, lifting, creating, and enjoying your 20s instead of debates about risk, secrecy, resentment, regret. This is whole body and mind healing. Fewer alarms, clearer plans, stronger relationships, and steadier confidence. Because you are living a safety system. Prevention stops being a burden and becomes a habit that quietly loves you. Sometimes inspiration matters as much as information, because the right mindset turns facts into choices. I want a piece of my training to live inside you, so courage replaces doubt when decisions arrive and you must choose. Alex learned this shift. Fear is loud, but structure is stronger. He moved from frantic searches to planned testing, condoms with lubricant and kind status talks. Discovering intimacy improves when both people know the plan before passion begins. Jacob felt that rebirth too. After following the schedule and seeing a negative result, he matured, turning relief into rituals. 1 pouch, 2 condoms, a small lube, reminders, and steady breaths before every date kept him present. Confidence is not a personality trait. It is a practice built from tiny promises kept to yourself, repeated under stress until your nervous system trusts you again, transforming anxiety into readiness and restoring steady joy in your body. Your identity is not the mistake you fear, nor rumor. It is the adult who understands biology, sets boundaries, and protects partners. Starting sexual activity responsibly is leadership, because you are creating safety to feel daily. If a voice whispers you are behind, remember today counts. 1 scheduled test, 1 frank question, and 1 condom used correctly can tilt your trajectory. The future you want begins with ordinary steps done consistently. Not perfection, practice. Tell yourself the sentence that frees you. Protection is not fear. It's freedom. Protection gives choice, time, and clarity. Letting you say yes without a knot in stomach, your plan traveled with you and stayed intact. So take this forward. Breathe, plan, prepare, then live. Be curious, be gentle, be proud. Let knowledge make you kind and boundaries make you brave. When thanked for leading, remember you chose to love your life on purpose. You've learned core truths most young men miss. Real transmission routes, the window period, and a routine that makes prevention practical and calm. Alex and Jacob showed that planning beats panic and small habits protect partners while restoring confidence. Summary: schedule testing, carry condoms plus lubricant, discuss status early, and use slow breath downshifts before intimacy or late-night pressure. After possible exposure, use time like a tool. Ask about early RNA testing, book follow-ups, and keep your protection non-negotiable until clarity. Remember the invisible ink metaphor: results appear with the right light. Your calendar, the correct tests, and steady practice. Your identity isn't a rumor or a mistake. It's the adult who understands biology, leads with kindness, and builds trust through repetition. This week, add testing dates to your calendar. Pack 2 condoms and lube, and rehearse your boundary sentence out loud. When anxiety spikes, lengthen your exhale, revisit the plan, and choose the next right step. Confidence returns as you keep small promises. Final CTAs, unique today. Comment, "I choose safety." Share this with one friend, and subscribe for weekly prevention lessons you can use immediately. If your hands are busy, drop a number from 1 to 9 so I can tailor future videos. You are not alone or late. Begin now, stay gentle, and let protection give you the freedom to say yes to the life you want. Carry this mindset into every date, clarity first, consent respected, protection prepared, and testing scheduled before desire asks you to improvise.